This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Morning.
Cracking show today. We talk about when kids run away from home, how far they get. Inspired by a kid that got all the way from Perth to Adelaide, which is impressive.
Yeah, it was good, actually. Everyone got involved in that one today.
Don't do that, kids. Don't do that.
Jordan Clark from the Fremantle Dockers, he came in.
Or as I like to call him, Jeremy Sharp. Can't tell them apart. The Governor of Western Australia, His Excellency Chris Dawson, joined us in the house.
We talk about tariffs at some stage and whether they are or not a good... No,
What we do is prove that we're not economists, is what we do. Yep. Plus, just some general chit-chat and good times.
There was shenanigans, wasn't there?
One or two.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean. 937.
It's 6:05. Sean's just going, where am I? I mean, he does know it's okay to know it's cause for alarm. Morning, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Well, the reason why, Nat, it's I'll tell you a bit later what I was doing, but I was up at the Morris pub last night, which is in Aloo, right?
Yes.
But when you live south of the river or north of the river and you're going either way, Jesus,
Traffic.
you can't understand that there's another area. For some reason, you can't understand that there's other people that live up in those regions, even though it's part of the suburbs.
The outer reaches of
And
Inaloo.
it's not. Inaloo, mate. It's a great spot to live, of course it is. And then you go, oh, yeah. And just to be able to track later on in the afternoon, say between 4 and 6, any time there when people are on the roads, because people are getting home and, picking up kids, it is a nightmare.
Well, the thing for us is that we forget about it because we drive to work so early in the morning, there's no traffic.
Yeah.
And then we're driving home from work in the mid-morning, there's also no traffic.
Yeah.
And so it really shocks us when we think we know how long it's going to take to get somewhere, and then we start driving and we go, oh, that's right. All the lights are red, there's cars everywhere, there's traffic coming to a standstill. It's like, oh, no, this isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah,
now I'm
most
20 minutes
definitely.
late.
And do you reckon that when you're following your phone to get to an address, that it takes you the fastest way?
Because
Because I feel like I'm doing laps all over the place.
Sometimes it's trying to avoid the traffic for you. So it'll take you through a rat run or whatever because there's traffic there. That it's helping you to avoid.
There's traffic in the afternoon?
No, when we
because you're not used to it.
we don't live that way. We don't live that way. We're early morning, middle of the night people. You know what I mean?
You know what? Like last
No,
night...
we get that people do. We understand that. But we forget what it's like.
It's shocking. Like last night, I got home, there was no food for me. I was like, whoa. What the hell?
Should have got some chips for the table up at the
Should have
Morris
got
Hotel,
some chips
mate.
for the table, Nat. Good call.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Ready to play?
Yeah.
NRL. Knockout. Nathan, Nat and Sean know you'd rather be watching the rugby doubleheader at Optus Stadium. Make it happen with the Bankwest Best Seats.
This weekend, the NRL doubleheader is coming to Optus Stadium.
It certainly is, Nat. To celebrate, we have a best seats double up for grabs thanks to Bankwest.
Indeed. Let's meet our contestants. We've got Shah from Southlake. Morning, Shah.
Good morning.
Oh, you sound up and about,
You
Shah.
do, Shah. Fresh
Yes.
as a daisy.
I am always up this early.
Yeah, good girl.
What time do you get up? Do you go to the gym? You're one of those people?
I used to, not anymore. I'm up for work, unfortunately.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, mate.
You're up against Brendan from Hilbert. Morning, Brendan.
Hey guys, how you going?
Oh, you're
Brendan.
up and about too, Brendan.
He's been to the gym. He's been for a run. Probably ice bathed already. Is that right?
No, minus the ice bath, but yeah. A bit too cold for that.
All right, here's what's going to happen. We have a bunch of questions and the answers start with N, R or L. We'll tell you which one we're asking for in the question. If you know the answer, buzz in with your name. You get it right, you take the point. You get it wrong, we'll move on to the next question. It is the first to score 3.
Lovely.
Oh, it comes at you fast. All right, let's test your buzzers. Shah,
Shah.
Brendan.
Braddon.
Is it Braddon? Is that
Oh, sorry, it's Braddon, yeah.
Braddon?
Oh, sorry, Braddon. We called you
Braddon.
Brendan.
Braddon's an unusual
never heard
name.
that one before.
I know. Are you the only one you know?
So far that I've come across.
Yeah, amazing.
So I blame
Braddon.
my parents for that one.
And how often do you get Brendan or something else? Braddon's?
And
Sorry.
every other variation you come
Yeah, I
up with.
bet.
Brendan, Brandon, the whole lot,
Yeah.
except his actual name.
Sorry, Braddon.
And we're just as bad. All right, here we go with question number 1.
Starting with N, which country is represented by the All Blacks?
Shah.
Braddon.
Shah.
New Zealand.
Of course
That's
it is
it.
Shah. Shah
Gee, they're
leads
good
1-0. Okay. Starting with R, what is the name of the robot in Star Wars?
Braddon.
Braddon.
R2D2.
Nailed it.
Boom.
We've got a battle on our hands. It's 1-1.
Okay, starting with L, which state is the US city of New Orleans in?
Braddon?
Louisiana.
Oh, the
Braddon.
South.
Shot out to a 2-1 lead. I know, Shay, you got to come back from here. All right.
Okay.
Starting with N, which Australian actress was once married to Tom Cruise? Braddon for the win.
Nicole Kidman.
There it is.
How good's she been recently, by the way?
She's been in everything.
It's not a Netflix show that she's not in.
I know. Braddon, you have scored a Bankwest Best Seats double pass to this weekend's NRL doubleheader at Optus Stadium. Going to be a big day out, Braddon. You're going to be looked after as well.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate
Brilliant
that.
work.
Straight back at you, big
Shay,
guy.
you battled hard. We've got one more round of this tomorrow.
Do it tomorrow, okay?
How about
Thanks
that?
to Bank West, Beaut.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Well, we did get the news overnight that Donald Trump, I was going to say the great man, no one's ever going to call him that.
Don't do that.
It's just a thing that rolls off the tongue, you know, when you're talking about someone sometimes.
Your
That'll
true
never be
feelings
the
coming
case.
out.
That'll never be the case. I think that with him, with the tariffs,
So
and
he's
him
put a
putting
pause
on
on
90
most
days.
of the tariffs,
So
yes.
now, when we're speaking, complete backflip is what people are going to talk about with the tariffs.
Well, I think what he's done is backflip in a way that he can say, no, I haven't backflipped. I've just put a pause on it. But then when the 90 days is up, it might have, been diluted. The policy might have been diluted a little bit. Clearly, he's still going to go hard on China because they're pushing back.
Yeah, so yesterday China increased their tariffs. Today the US have done.
Yes.
So
Yeah. It's gonna, he'll just keep going with 200. I'll make it 200. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's impacting, like they're forgetting how many things are made in China that American people rely on. So that
100% now.
can't be produced at the
100%.
moment. And Elon Musk is a really good example. So some major components of a Tesla car are made in China and other countries. And also all of a sudden, the cost of that starts to skyrocket whilst they're assembled largely in America. The actual parts are coming from other countries. And if you're putting tariffs on those, obviously then the price goes up, your share price goes down. That's what's happened. And so he hasn't looked after his mates in this case. And his mates is going to start saying, hang on a second.
I think that's a good thing, by the way, because you can't just...
No, but somebody has to pay for,
No, I
has
totally
to buy.
understand that, but
the consumer is the one that bears the cost of it.
Yeah, but we could dissect every different industry and find a way. Either there's not a lot of flaws at the moment. Oh, you can, and against. But the whole thing, what's the whole thing about? The whole thing about the tariffs.
Well, it's
about his ego and him trying to.
What is it about?
He wants to be an enforcer.
Yeah, in what way? But what's it for?
Isn't it?
But what's it for?
I mean, that's the theory. That is the theory that it's going to bring manufacture. But if you're not actually already manufacturing these things, if they don't have the technology or the brain power or the manpower to do it, then you've still got to rely on it being done in other places until you've built up your own manufacturing. And so that's a big lag. And in the meantime, it's the consumer that pays.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're putting... Yeah, again, coming back to the basis, what is the basis of it? The basis is to get some power back from China, and you're dead right. You can't go and buy, like people in Australia, we can't get things manufactured as cheap because of the cost of labour over there,
that's right.
So when we start bringing back stuff to WA, which our state government have said, and also our federal government, it's going to cost more.
Yes.
So the reality is he's come in with the big hammer. He's come in with the big hammer against all the other countries just to make a statement that the Don's going to change the world, right? That's what he's all about, and I'm going to do this, and no one's going to push us around the whole lot. That's fair? Yeah. So getting back to it, what he clearly is doing it wrong because we need to get... Well, China's dominating the world, and that can't continue to happen because we're all reliant on them. Right?
Yes.
That's fair.
It's not only China, by the way, because he's imposed tariffs on, there was a massive one on Vietnam.
Yeah.
Now, Vietnam, the clothing, textile, luggage and shoe industry in that country that's where everything is made. So if you want to buy a pair of Nike shoes in America, There's now, he put a 46% tariff on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, everybody that's buying a pair of shoes is like, hang on, it's costing me way more.
Oh, no, we can break down. We can break down all the individual businesses.
No, but this is
and
what I'm
stuff
saying.
like
It's
that.
not just about China.
Well,
if that's
China,
it,
Nat,
then apply it to China and not anyone
China
else.
owns all this stuff in all the other countries.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a major play against them. The other part to that is, whilst he's done this as an overall thing, which is completely wrong, the idea of the world having free trade and sticking to what they're best at, right? So in Australia, what are we best at? We can provide gas to the rest of the world and iron ore, right?
Yep.
But apart from that, what we should be concentrating on is renewables to a big degree because we've got the sun.
Yeah, that's right.
Over in China, because of their labour conditions, and they've got the mass population, being able to make the shoes and all that would be a really good thing, and they can stick to that thing. The US can do their oil and all that, but it's all got to the point where someone's got too powerful, so that's where he's coming. Well, my opinion is that he's coming with the big hammer, which is not going to work.
Yeah. No, well, it
It's gonna do
hasn't.
fighting
look what
everybody.
it's done. It's just about punched the whole world into a recession.
Yeah, the really interesting thing
it's
is
not.
that it's 7
It's a
o'clock.
recession when it's a recession.
7 o'clock this morning, the stock market here opens.
Yes.
And in the US, they just had one of the biggest days in the history of the stock market. It's a roller coaster ride
That's
based
right.
on what he says.
Yes,
or
whereas
does.
last week
Yeah.
they had their 95th worst day of all time since the stock market started. And that includes like the Wall Street crash of 1929 when that was a dire situation.
Yeah, but it happens every 4 years, and no one loses money until they lose money. So it's paper money until you sell it.
Yeah,
so 99% of Australia's population don't use their superannuation right now.
No, that's right. But if you're on the brink of retiring and and I know people that are in this
I know, but we're not
and they looked at
going,
that
oh, it's going to
and
affect
went,
1%, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Even if it's going well, it's going to affect somebody in a negative way.
The problem is he's turned it into a very volatile situation where it's changing dramatically from day to day by making wide-ranging policy statements that change overnight.
Yeah.
So that is a volatile situation for anyone to be in.
I think we're wasting our time talking about it so much, and I know he's just cannon fodder for media outlets and
it's pretty
TV
significant,
and all
the
that
stuff he's
kind of
doing,
stuff.
though. It is pretty significant.
Yeah, it is. But if we keep getting caught up on it on a daily basis, which I reckon most of us do, you know, every conversation seems about that. It's not really affecting us day to day, and it's just not.
Well,
it's not affecting the way you go about your life on a day-to-day basis. It's just
that's
not.
true. But nor is anything that any government does.
If he wasn't around, we wouldn't be watching the news.
Yeah, but if he wasn't around, this wouldn't be happening.
That's 100% right.
All right, we done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Looking for something to do this weekend. There's nothing quite like looking through someone else's house. Is there?
And checking the garden out, more important. How the lawns.
And you can do that this weekend because Government House is throwing its doors open to the house and the gardens this weekend. His Excellency, the Governor of Western Australia, Chris Dawson's in the house. Welcome back.
Great to be here.
Now,
You been on the hedger?
The edges blades I've just had to work on, but they're fine, you know.
I mean, it's hard enough when you're having a few people around. You do have to spruce the place up a bit.
You do.
And also, this is me before I host book club, when there's like 8 other women coming to my house and I have to hide everything that I don't want people to see. But also then, the place is sparkling. Is that what's been going on this week?
Yeah, I got a bit of help, fortunately, because it is
Can you send them round to my house in August? That'd be terrific.
It is a big house and it's got a big garden, but look, the crew have been working really hard and they're really looking forward to opening the place up this weekend, so it'll be fantastic.
I think we asked you this before, but I can't remember. How many bedrooms is the Governor House?
There's about 22, but they're mainly occupied by, workers and whatever.
Yep.
So we obviously keep a few for, formal events, dinners, things like that. So,
so if someone gets a couple of wines in, you just
there's a spare bedroom.
I check their pockets for the cutlery. That's
You have the good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
On that, do you have, like our normal houses, we have just the normal stuff we use,
Yes,
and then there's the
everyday
good
things.
stuff. Is there a difference?
No.
They're just all good stuff.
So it's all good china.
It's all good stuff.
You're using the good china every night.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've eaten off a paper plate?
Oh, probably a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I got lots
like
of
to keep
different
you
functions.
grounded, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Is there a Barbie out the back?
Yeah, there's a Barbie.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so look, when we have official events, I mean, look, people, you want to honour them. It's the best part about the job is that you are recognising and honouring people
Yes.
for their bravery or for their community service.
Yes.
And, you know, on a serious level, you know, one of the most fantastic people I've met in my time as governor, Arthur Leggett, just passed away.
Yes.
You know, and you would have
106.
Yeah,
Extraordinary.
And absolute cracker of a guy. And I went up last year. He finally, at 103, went from his independent living at home.
Yeah.
And his
Independent
daughters in their 80s said, "Dad, come on." You know,
His daughters
so-
in their 80s. Yeah, it's amazing.
and they
isn't it?
eventually got him to an aged care home.
Yes.
And I said, "What's it like, Arthur?" It was up at the home. It was a really nice place up in High Wycombe. And I said, "What's it like?" He said, "Oh, yeah, well, there's a gym here." I said, "Oh, you use it?" Yeah, bloody hell.
Jim here.
Twice a week he was using
That's
it.
why he lived to 106.
Well, he
It's
said, "I don't want to get like these old bastards."
Yeah.
That's what he said, you know,
Yes.
at 106.
Oh,
And
God love him. What a
brilliant
guy.
And
Yeah.
he's a great example, you know, of a person who, after he got released as a
Yes, he's a prisoner of
POW
war. Yeah, that's right.
in Germany and Poland, he spent 80 years giving of himself.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's incredible, isn't it?
and in life there are givers and takers. He
Yes.
was a giver, you know,
Yeah.
and he just gave of himself, never took a cracker. He just looked after his mates' families and the old diggers.
Yeah.
And that's a brilliant example of the sorts of people that we can honour.
Yeah, most definitely. Another one is Neil Danaher, which I caught up with last night. We were talking about it off air, but you got to spend some time with him yesterday as well. He is a magnificent human being, Australian of the Year, of course.
He is, and what a great choice as Australian of the Year.
Yeah.
But Neil came in with his family, so Jan and Beck were in as well. We probably talked for about an hour and a half. It was a really easy conversation. And, you know, Neil obviously talks through that app, and he is just a fantastic human example of someone that is pushing through all these barriers.
That's right.
And we know how serious the whole situation is, but the family are again so grounded, and I just found it such an uplifting conversation. And yeah, we'll help his foundation out with a reception later in the year.
Yeah.
So that people can actually understand, one, what's MND about?
Yep.
How does it, you know, how can we get better at research? They've got clinical trials. They've raised an enormous amount of money, but the money is appropriately being put to the right research.
They reckon that most of the progress that's been made in the research on that disease is down to the money that Neil has raised.
Yep.
Which is incredible.
Oh,
like
it's
if
like-
one person is making a difference that he's not going to reap the benefits of.
No.
He said this himself. He knows that the research that's happening now
Yep.
can't save him, but it can save somebody in 20 years' time. And you go, that's a great man.
Just a great guy.
Because you
And-
wouldn't begrudge somebody in his situation just wanting to spend time with his family and just like stay out of the limelight.
Yeah,
Just,
so
you know.
you finish every day at work and you go, wow, what a great day at work, because
Yeah.
you can just honour them or the little
You get to meet great people.
Yeah.
You do.
And us.
Two rippers.
Even you.
Governor, you have been opening the doors every year
Yep.
since you've
Yes.
been, and
Yep.
everybody else before then. You get a lot of people coming through and checking out the Governor
We've had-
House?
Yeah, look, since I've been there, so my wife Darren and I, we call it home because it's a functional working home.
Yeah.
But people regularly come into the gardens during the week, but you can go inside the house this weekend. So between 10 and 3 on Saturday and Sunday, we've had 20-odd thousand people through in the last couple of years.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So there's a bit of bling inside.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
imagine.
So, and often people either walk or drive past Government House and go, "What's that castle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's inside there?" So one of our grandkids actually, tells stories at school and, news for the day. And I slept at Pop's Castle on the weekend.
Yeah.
And the teacher went,
Oh, turn it up.
I think he's
Yeah.
making things up.
Yeah, of course.
And he wasn't. It was just the way he sort of
Yeah.
just described it. We don't
Yeah.
call it a castle, but, in a kid's mind, it definitely is.
Did the Queen, when the Queen visited, did she stay there?
Yep. And
Yeah.
King Charles has stayed there quite a number of times.
So that's because you're their representative here.
Yep.
So what did you put the extra special pillowcases on?
Oh,
or
yeah,
what's that?
absolutely.
Is there a separate set of stuff that's just for royalty?
yeah.
Like, do they get
No, it's our
literally the
staff.
royal treatment?
Our staff, but they're used to giving the royal treatment. So we've had probably over the years about 15 or 16 royal visits. So that's something which, we'd obviously love to welcome King Charles.
Yeah, of course.
Back
Yes.
here. But he's, as a Prince of Wales, he's been to WA and stayed there probably about 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is, isn't it?
When you first moved in as part of your job, what did you feel? How long did it take you to feel comfortable?
What did you move from? What were you living in
I
before
still have
that?
it. Oh, just our normal home.
Yeah, just
normal suburban home.
a 4x2.
It was a bit of like pinch me. What in the hell am I doing here? Because in the 1970s, I was a young raw constable.
Yeah,
and I was guarding the place on night shift. I mean, you're counting ducks in the night, and and then when you go back there, I mean, no one ever knows what life's going to deal out. It was very, very strange and very surreal. Yeah.
So watching TV, you got Foxtel on, and have you got KO or something?
Been watching White Lotus?
No. What do you got? I watch the footy if I can. We're often, obviously at different events. But I was at the footy actually with your old club last Sunday.
Yep.
So because amongst things, we're patrons of Purple Hands Foundation.
Purple Hands, fantastic.
And that's a great cause. So we're often going to sporting events as well. So,
how busy is your schedule? Do you have something pretty much on every day?
Yeah,
than...
It's a full press, but speaking of Neil, so Neil was there for, the walk for the disability, all abilities walk. So he was there working hard. So
ahead of the doctor's match.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got stamina. So that's a good example of a typical weekend. You'll go to some sort of foundation or charity, or at times, it's a busy week. Tuesday I was opening Parliament. So,
that's right. That's
I walk around behind.
So you swore in a new government, essentially, yeah?
Yeah. So the fella with the black rod and the big black coat, and we got inside the house, and
That sounds like you had to burst the door down.
It's another day at work, yes. So it is a little surreal.
Yeah. It is pretty amazing, as you said, as an 18-year-old constable, you're actually guarding the place and going, Well,
now I describe it, and I said it in my speech, you're actually guarding democracy.
Yeah.
Because, as much as we joke and make light of, the things about it, we live in such a fantastic country, and our state is just brilliant. And then you look over the world, and I'm not going to name countries, and you look other way and you go, so what are they pulling down? So we've got a lot to be thankful for about the way our democracy works. So
that's right.
That's the serious part of my job. And that's to say, look, we can all have a bit of a joke and have fun, and that's great. But there are some important institutions that we're going to make sure that we do for our kids and our grandkids and those generations that follow, because guys like Arthur Leggett fought for this.
Yeah.
And so we've got to make sure we're very, very, serious about that side of it, and don't disrespect what others have really sacrificed.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
Well said. All right, well, Government House is open this weekend, everybody. Go down and check out Chris's house.
Can I just say, it's a family thing. It's free.
Yes.
There's food stalls. There's a huge obstacle course for the Scouts. They've put on there one of the patronages.
Yeah.
So the kids can bounce around out in the gardens. There's a lot of nice things to see inside.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Don't steal anything.
Lots of food. No,
because he used to be the police commission, so he's got friends.
Lots of friends.
We'll check your pockets.
Thank you so much for coming in, Governor. Once again, an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for that.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
It's Thirsty Camel's Bursty Camel. Nathan, Nat, and Sean are bursting with energy, and the camel is bursting with great Easter deals. This Easter, shop the way you want, in store and online. Thirsty Camel bottle shops.
Thirsty Camel's great, but Bursty Camel's even better. This is what's going to happen. We've got our very own balloon stand in the studio. We're ready to play Bursty Camel. That means we'll be throwing darts at balloons. Whatever is in those balloons will be won by the person at home that we're playing for.
Elisa, are you up for some cash this morning?
I sure am, thanks. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, it would be.
Lisa, you're in a great position because you get to decide who you want throwing your dart for you. Now, your choices today. We have me, that's Nat. We've got Sean.
Yes.
Or we've got Amy, the Hurricane Carter, our producer. So you get to choose, Lisa. Who's it going to be?
Sean, please.
Yes.
Today.
Okay.
Yes. Lisa, we've got a natural connection. 6155 all the way. Let's go.
Oh, Willow represent. Okay.
For sure.
Kelly is in Toronto. Good morning, Kel.
Good morning. How are you?
Great, Kelly. Whose arm would you like throwing darts for you, mine or Amy's?
No, I think you give it a great go, so I'll go with you, Nat.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Great. And there's some synergy here because that means Amy from Baldivis, you'll be teaming up from Amy from Hamilton.
Perfect.
Perfect. You're the hurricane.
Amy,
got this.
Amy on
Because you know where the money is. You know where the money is, don't you?
All right.
David, is that right?
Oh, I don't know that.
No, she looks very
Amy
confident,
says no,
though.
she doesn't know. And I believe Amy. Amy's truthful.
She would
Really?
never lie about anything.
She told you she liked your hair this morning. Look at that.
All right, Sean, you're up first, my friend.
Righto. All right.
Let's go, Lee.
Sean McManus stepping back to the line. The balloons are all blown up by our friend the camel. Okay. Hang on, Ames. Yep. Okay. All right, Shawnee, go for it whenever you're ready. Cash in the balloons. He did get one, but there was nothing in that balloon, unfortunately. Next up, Nat, who is playing for Kelly in Sorrento. Oh, good shot, Nat. And
I think she got 2 balloons there, which is great.
a balloon, and definitely has a winner. How much?
That was a tactical ploy because there were 2
done.
balloons very close together. And Kelly, I just won you $500.
Big one. Damn it.
How much is left, David?
Still $500 left on the board. Amy is up next, playing for
We've got another winner. Sean,
Amy's got some
language,
coin.
Sean.
All right.
And don't speak to Amy like that.
What Easter
we respect
presents
her.
Hey, Ames, I got you some cash. $100.
Oh, that is pathetic.
That's good.
What are you going to do with
Plenty of Easter
We're gonna do with
presents
100.
from the
Terrible.
camel. All right. Sean, back up next for Lisa in Willerton.
Righto.
No money on the board yet for Sean. Here we go. All right. Oh, he did get a balloon, but no luck with some cash in it, which means it is back to Nat, who is playing for Kelly in Sorrento. I believe we still have $400 on the board here, Nat. So a bit of pressure. Did get a balloon. The camel did not put any money in that balloon, unfortunately. Amy's back up playing for Amy and Baldivis. Amy. Amy's got a balloon.
Better not be 400.
Get out. Is it 400?
Amy,
Yeah,
how much do you reckon I have?
I'm hoping 400.
Ding, 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 ding.
Willerton's gone down. So Kelly gets $500 and Amy gets $500 and Sean won nothing.
Oh, what?
Well done. Sorry, mate.
Lisa, I'm so sorry. We deserve
At
better.
least you'll always have Wellington.
We'll always have Southland Shopping Centre together.
and
the basketball
where's that noodle
stadium.
house? Oh, that's in Leeming. Another chance to play Burst to Camel back tomorrow morning. Another $1,000 up for grabs.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Extraordinary story that we've heard in the last 24 hours about the 12-year-old kid who he ran away.
Yes.
So we first noticed that there was a sort of one of those, somebody's missing, call the police if you see him. And they said
for sure.
he's believed to be headed for the airport. Yeah, this 12-year-old left home, got to the airport, got on a plane and went to Adelaide. I mean, it's gather round, to be fair.
Dave,
So
how can a 12-year-old go to gather round? You won't let us go. This is... Oh, mate, honestly.
we need that 12-year-old's parents' credit card, obviously.
Pay for it, Sean.
Yeah, I know. Is that amazing, though? Because, kids
huge,
threaten to run away all the time. They're like, I'm going to run away, I'm going to run away. And then they pack a bag and they, go down the park and they sit there for 15 minutes and then they get hungry and come home again. The fact that this 12-year-old has the follow-through. Now, the airline...
What do the airlines say? Yeah.
There's been some criticism because they're like, how could you let this happen? The airline, first of all...
He had a
there's
fake
no breach
mustache. And
the kids only have to be 12 to fly with that airline. So as an independent person, so there was no requirement for anybody to do any checks on it. And also, maybe if he looks slightly older, who's going to question it?
no, that 100%.
Because you don't have to provide any. You check in at
ID.
a kiosk.
Yep.
If he's got carry-on, he's not even checking a bag.
Yeah.
You
Had a
just.
Spider-Man lunchbox and...
Oh, he's wearing a school uniform.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But he was going to see a relative
Yes,
over in
apparently
Adelaide.
there was a relative in Adelaide, so he was on his way there. I don't know. We don't know the scenario of what his motivation was, other than he wanted to go to Adelaide, and did. I mean,
You're
that's
so right,
amazing
Nat.
follow through, isn't it?
It's great because we don't have follow through. But for kids in particular, at some stage everybody wants to run away.
And
They have
it's
this.
the storm out.
I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got bigger things ahead. I've got to leave this family behind.
That's right. You're
I'm
holding
moving
me
on.
back. Yeah. It's like, you're 7, dude. What are you doing? And like, I love that some parents are like, okay, I'll help you pack a bag. And then they're like, what do you want to take?
Yeah.
And that can-
mine did that.
Yeah, that can be enough to like go, oh, this is a lot of decisions to make all of a sudden.
I didn't have it in my kids, and I was just trying to think. None of my brothers and sisters. I don't think anyone tried to run it. Did you have any with the boys? Your brothers trying to leave home?
Sean, we lived 40 k's out of town. Sort of bus coming past, you know what I mean? The only bus that came past was the school bus, and you got on it and you went to school. So there was no opportunity, really. Like, the nearest neighbour was like 5 k's away. So you couldn't even, it wasn't even practical to do that. I mean, I suppose if we really wanted to, like, we had access to vehicles and things, but I don't know, you're not going to drive a farm vehicle all the way into town. So we didn't. It wasn't an option.
Just
wasn't
that
an
coming
option.
in.
What about you? Did you try and run away, Dave?
I remember I did it a few times. I was a bit of a drama queen.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
nah, you can't pick it either.
But yeah, it's always the case. You get around the corner and you're like, oh, they're not coming. I'm going to...
Exactly. I better go back. Starving.
It's the hunger. It's the hunger that gets you, I think. Like, so kids, like, pack a sandwich at least to get you through the first 20 minutes. So, and then after that, you're going to go crawling home again because it's cold out there. Like, you don't want to. You're probably not going to make it all the way to Adelaide.
No.
Shall we talk
not.
about it? 13, 24, 10. We want to know, how far did you get? Like, did you make it to Adelaide? Which seems to be, obviously the pinnacle.
Well, now we've
Where
got a
else would you
benchmark.
go? Yeah, that's right. Did you make it to Adelaide, or did you barely make it around the corner? And if you've had a kid who's threatened it or like has packed their bag and set off with their teddy under their arm, how far did they get?
As you said, do you help them with their gear? Because parents do that sometimes. Oh, yeah, okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
just pack
it's
our
not a
stuff.
bad
Where
strategy.
do you need me to take you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Michelle's in Piara Waters. Hello.
Good morning, how are you?
Good,
Great,
Michelle.
So you ran away?
I ran away. I was 4 years old. This was back in the 1970s. I was staying at my godparents' place in East Fremantle.
Yes.
He had gone out to get the paper. He left the door open, and I decided to pack my Aunt Mills and Wear bag that I got, from the Royal Show back in the day.
Yes.
And packed my bag, walked down to the Fremantle Bridge. I got picked up by a wharfie. He took me to the police station. I wanted to go. I was walking to my grandparents' place, so I knew exactly where they lived.
Yeah.
The police put me in the cop car, and I directed them to my grandparents' place in Cottesloe.
Oh, they drove you there.
That's amazing that at 4 you could do that. But also, so when your godfather got home to an open door and no kid, what was his reaction?
Panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
he just
so,
figured you were still asleep, I take it.
Pardon?
Did he just figure you were still asleep and he could duck out and get the
Yeah, I
paper?
guess so. And, they must have figured out that I'd left. And my grandfather opened the front door and the police said, the sheep belong to you. And I went, and I just ran into my grandmother's bed and curled up and went back to sleep.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good at 4 to be able to direct the cops to your grandparents' house in Cottesloe. Well done. Great work, Michelle. Thank you. Megan's in Baldivis. Hello.
Hi.
I mean,
Who was the runaway, Megan?
Well, all of us, to be honest. I'm one of 5. And we had it pretty convenient because my nana lived, literally right across the road. So whenever we cracked it, we could just pack our bags and our toys and run away to my nana's house.
Great.
But when my mum, I'm one of, there's 4 girls, 1 boy. And when my mum had her 4th daughter, my little brother, he would have been 7. He decided too many girls, he was well outnumbered, and he packed everything and moved across the road for about a week. He could come back home.
that's it.
Too many women.
Not enough.
Too many women.
Yeah.
Can't take it
Too
anymore.
outnumbered, yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. I mean, how convenient having Nana right there. At least your mum knew that when you ran away, she knew where you were. That's good.
That's really
Right,
good when you
yeah.
can see the person from the front door.
And we thought, we'll slam the door on the way out. We thought really, really, really clever. but yeah, right across the road. She
Yeah, I
literally
mean,
wants us to leave.
It's not a statement, at least you say the door. Oh, that's too cute, Megan. Thank you. Dave, you've got a twist on this.
Yeah. So, my mum, when Jillian, my sister, and I were fighting, Mum would actually always, she'd get the suitcase out and she'd go, "I've had enough of this," and she'd start packing, and we'd be in tears, and then she'd walk out the door. She'd gone for like 5 minutes to make a sick, and then she'd left.
I think that's much better.
To make a point. That's so
Listen
effective.
to that, parents. That's way better.
Exactly. Have a suitcase ready to go.
You're not going anywhere.
What do the preppers call it? You go back.
Go back, yeah.
Lisa's in Canning Vale. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Great,
Lise.
Lisa. Okay, how far did the runaway get? What happened?
So I lived in Narrogin at the time. I was a teenager back in the 80s.
Yes.
And I made it to Perth.
Fair effort.
How? Talk us through the process.
Okay. So I went to school, met up with one of my best friends, and then we caught a bus. We caught the bus, the old Greyhound.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we made it to Perth.
So you needed money for the ticket for that, obviously.
So, yeah, I worked part-time on the weekends because she wanted to hitchhike.
Oh, God. Okay, so at least that didn't happen, yes. Thank God you had a job.
So I had money, so we caught the bus. Yeah.
Now, your parents must have been terrified when, of course, so they wouldn't have known until you didn't come home from school, right?
That's correct. So it took them all a while to realise what had happened.
But what did you do when you got to Perth?
So we were catching trains and we were looking for her sister.
Looking for her sister?
We were just running amok because her sister lived in Perth.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was our plan, was to go to her place.
Did you know where she lived?
Yeah,
my friend did. We were 15 at the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we went looking. We found her sister and we were wandering around Perth with them, and then got to the early evenings, and then I started to get scared.
Yes.
So I rang home, and my uncle came and picked me up that night.
Oh, so your uncle had to get in the car and drive the 2 hours from Narrogin to pick you up?
No. He lived in Perth.
He lived in Perth.
Yeah. So he picked me up and I stayed the night at his place and he put me back on the bus the next morning.
How are your parents? Were they livid?
How long was the grounding?
So angry. It was my birthday, was the day I got back. Oh. And my mum literally threw the presents at me.
Oh, she gave them to you, but angrily.
Yeah.
Way to teach you a lesson.
It's your birthday.
Oh, Lisa. What was the motivation? Like, what was it?
So I think it was, I had a stepfather that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I think that was my main motivation.
Okay. Yeah. Had you had a fight or was it just like you just didn't?
I think it was a continuous.
We pushed to the brink.
Farm, so a farm as well. So it'd be isolated. So it was just like, that's it. I'm out of here.
Amazing. Amazing.
And I was a bit of a rebel, so I was a bit of a naughty teenager.
Yeah, I mean, 15 is that age when you think you can assert your independence until you're much older and go, oh, no, I couldn't.
Teenage girl, son. Who would want one?
Incredible. Thanks, Lisa. Sandra's in Gero. Hello.
How you going?
Good, Sandra.
Good, Sandra. Who was the runaway and how far did they get?
My brother, he was about 4 and he got told no by Mum. So he packed this little lunchbox and he walked around the block because he wasn't allowed to cross the road.
I mean, I love that. He's such a rebel that he leaves home because he's been told no. But I'm not going to break that rule. Not going to cross the road.
No, he didn't cross the road. So he came back real quick.
He's a rule-following rebel. One lap around the block.
You know, it's a good point, though. Crossing the road was a big deal.
Yeah, and it should be. He's 4. It should be a big deal, but it's amazing that he actually stuck to it. Incredible. I love that. And it seems to be, what I'm taking away from this, is that 4 is a critical age for when they want to leave home, and 15. If they're 7 or 8, it's going to be fine. But any age other than 4 and 15 are the danger points.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Nova's Red Room Global Tour. This is your boarding pass to the world's biggest artists. Up close and personals, all powered by Expedia. Run us through it, Sean.
Now we're going to kick things off with an exclusive Nova's Red Room event in Sydney. We don't know who's playing there yet. It's such a big surprise they won't tell us. So it's going to be massive artists, obviously. Then we're going to go to see Gracie Abrams in Auckland.
Yeah, where you'll be staying at the QT Auckland, having pre-show drinks on the QT rooftop because you are classy.
Got to be careful of QT though. It's a bit,
Sean can't find find the light switch.
That's right.
He's still scarred.
Mate, I couldn't sleep that night.
He could find the pickup sticks, but he couldn't find
And the Brill cream.
He's scarred for life. Then you're off to LA to see Dean Lewis live in Nova's Red Room. That'll be an extraordinary gig. Plus, you'll jump on a plane to Las Vegas to see Jelly Roll and Post Malone. And then you're in Vegas. Then we do bring you home again. We don't just leave you in Vegas.
All right, so we're going to announce the winner tomorrow.
That's right. Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel will be calling back somebody to win the last ticket to be a part of it. And this young lady is now in the running. Tanisha, hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Tanisha, this is exciting. You're officially
literally
one
in it to
step
win it.
closer. Yeah, that's
It's
right.
very exciting.
I know. Have you been to Vegas before?
Never. I've never left the country.
Oh, cool.
Tanisha, I tell you what,
this would be great.
Yeah, this would be a great way to do it, wouldn't it? With first of all, somebody else is
definitely.
paying, and this is a money can't buy experience. So it's not like people can buy a ticket to go on this tour. It's only people who've won it. So it's unbelievable. Seems like destiny.
Tanisha, the fact that you haven't left the country, was that like more of a financial thing, or that you've just got no
I
interest?
guess I'm a single mum to a 4-year-old, and I haven't really had the chance. But I don't know. I saw this and I thought I'd enter it.
Be amazing.
Someone's got to win it, mate. It could be you tomorrow. That'd be awesome.
We've just been talking about, our extensive research, Tanisha, seems to show that at 4, kids want to run away. Has your 4-year-old shown any inclination?
Oh, he runs away from me all the time.
Got your work cut out for you. Well, have your phone handy tomorrow, Tanisha, because Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel could be calling you. Good luck, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
You're
Good on you,
officially
mate.
in the running. Running out of chances, though. Get online, or you can enter via the Nova Player as well. You better hurry up, because it will be won tomorrow.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Natalie, we've got a giveaway to finish things off. Dave?
Oh, play the sting, Dave.
Oh, no, don't. Do we actually have one?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Do we have
Yep.
You're making this up. Are you trying to wind me up?
Okay.
No, thanks for listening.
We're not making this up.
Okay, I'll do it live. Give it away now.
Yes. I felt like Anthony Kiedis is right here.
Yeah, I know. We sound exactly the same. Why don't you give it away, Sean?
$150 voucher for Morris Mead. Of course, my wife did her apprentice.
Yeah.
And cut her teeth with Morris, the great Morris
She
Mead.
didn't cut her teeth. I suppose that's a bad thing when it's a hair cutting thing.
Yeah, so she used to work at Claremont Morris Mead, and I used to know the florist very well because I was in trouble all the time.
Constantly
so I used to have to ring up and go, hey, any danger you can send some flowers over to Megan again?
It was weird because he started having an affair with the florist because he got to know her so well.
Oh, we did. What do you do? Get a free L'Oreal gloss colour now with your cut and blow dry. Book now at morrismead.com.au.
What have you got? Who are you giving it to?
Caller number 1.
Oh, number 1 on 13 24 10. Why not? Tomorrow on the show, we're going to catch up with, the other governor.
Yep.
We had the governor of Western Australia in this morning, Chris Dawson. But Jeremy McGovern will be joining us tomorrow. We can ask him some questions about Tim Kelly.
Yeah, we will. I mean, he'll be flat. He'll be flat. For the club, Tim himself.
Humanity.
It's just a dire.
Plus, our old mate Claire Hooper, who she cut her teeth as a supernova here in Nova 937 back in the day. Now she's hosting her own TV show. We'll be catching up with her. Last day of Bursty Camel.
Yeah.
Sean, what do you get? What was the return
Absolute
for you?
donuts from my friend Lisa in Willerton.
I got $500. Amy got $500 for her contestant.
Yeah, okay. Rubbing it in.
Hi, Truso.
Hey, morning, guys.
Sammy.
Great show again.
Hey, that's back to back.
Yeah, 2 in a row. Yeah, you guys are in full form.
How do you know that? You weren't listening earlier.
I heard little bits and pieces. Don't you worry. I was up and awake.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.